Hello everybody and just here and welcome to Isekai Shikkaku episode 1, a brand new show on the channel, brand new show in general, although I believe it released like couple of days ago, something thereabouts. I have a busy week and it still hasn't ended, so some of those shows are gonna be delayed, even though I'd much rather they not be. I mean, that much is obvious, I'd like to think. But yeah, we are here, finally, we get to watch it. What do I know of it? Not much, honestly. We've seen it, the trailer and the general description of it, the general like idea for it during the seasonal stream that I always have, and the VOD is gonna be here in the corner in a card if you're curious to check it out. And it seems to be a story of a real-life author who got isekai'd. And the author is apparently notorious for being a huge, like, misanthrope and in general very, like, you know, negative and depressed and stuff like that, and wrote some depressing books, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know why exactly he became so much of a meme that he's now just immortalized in anime, but apparently he did. I don't even know if it is actually as a meme or more as an, like, you know, homage and a way of paying respects, or which direction does it go, right? It's really wild to me to see a like real life person after their death put in media. Imagine if you had, I don't know, Pierce Anthony, or what books do I have on the bookshelf? I don't know, Christopher Paolini or whoever, right? Imagine you have them in Netflix's Shira or Smiling Friends or whatever, right? It's odd. Not in a bad way, like, make no mistake, it's interesting, but just something that I would never, that I never thought I would see. So it's gonna be interesting just from this perspective alone. Apparently this is not the first time this character, this person, I guess, stars in a in episode media. There has been like other anime where he's a character, at least. I'm not sure if main or not, but a character. And probably some others as well, like manga, light novels. We talked a little bit about that during the seasonal stream as well, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember everything. We went through so many shows that my PC just overheated and the stream just shut down. Yeah, I don't remember every single one of them, unfortunately. Anything else? I know that it's made by a studio that has not made much. Can't remember the exact name of it. And judging from the trailer, it's going to be kind of sort of like Zetsubo Sensei Isekai thing. A little bit like... does it have an anime? Or am I thinking of something else entirely? There was also a story, I'm gonna say, because again I'm not sure if it's anime or not, of someone who also got dragged into an isekai world but then decided, no, fuck it, I'm not gonna do anything, you know, fight demon lord yourselves, I'm just gonna do my own thing, just going completely against the, you know, prophecy and destiny and shit like that. So I wonder if it's going to be something along those lines, or are we going to go for a more serious tone? Probably not, judging by the opening alone. I'm really interested in what the story is going to be with a character like that, right? I mean, the character here is playing the central role, after all, so the story has to be centered around him. I'm not sure in what way. Is it going to turn out to be the chosen one, or is it gonna turn out to be just a random person who has no special superpowers, or maybe his depression is gonna be his superpower? I don't know. I have absolutely no clue what to expect. I don't even know, to be honest with you, whether it's an anime original or based on a manga or light novel. Probably an adaptation. I mean, let's be honest, 90% anime nowadays is adaptations, at least the anime that makes it here to the West. So probably an adaptation of something. We'll see though. We'll see, right? How does that sound? If you're unfamiliar with the structure of my videos, if you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome. Second of all, now we're going through the intro, and the intro is there for every episode. I usually talk a little bit about the previous episode, some additional thoughts that might have appeared, stuff like that. Bit of a recap, I guess. Then we go through the show with subtitles here and a timer, so prepare your own copy. This is so that YouTube doesn't strike those videos with a hammer of Thor. Then we go through the show again. Slowly, you know, I can pause at any time, talk at length that I wouldn't during the live segment. We go frame by frame through animation. I Google stuff, you know, things like that that couldn't have been done during the, you know, live reaction. And then we also, for the first episode alone, we're gonna check out the studio, what they made, the staff, the voice actors, stuff like that, so that we know who we're dealing with, more or less. And then we're gonna have a bit of a closing thoughts, right? What I thought of this episode, some additional thoughts that might have appeared, maybe noting down some theories, stuff like that. Right? Sounds fair? Sounds fair. This video is gonna be a little bit longer because of the, you know, checking the staff and stuff like that. Future videos are probably gonna be shorter. But if you don't want to watch the whole video, it's all gonna be time-stamped down there or on the side or whatever layout YouTube decides to have today. So you can always just jump into the segment that interests you. Alright, as usual, like Patreon, follow, subscribe, stuff like that, yeah, I think we should just start watching this video, shall we? To do that, you will need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot, we'll see you in early access. And with that, we can start watching Isekai Shikkaku in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I forgot to mention I'm using the subs please version, although I don't think there are any fan subs of it. Very few shows have fan subs nowadays, so you're probably watching the same version as I am, let's be honest. Probably ripped from Crunchyroll or wherever. Very Zetsubo Sensei vibes immediately. Wearing a kimono, if I'm not mistaken, everything grayscale. And he is a sensei. And a splash of color. Again, another thing very reminiscent. Tied by the red string of fate. Oh, it's Truck-kun. It is Truck-kun. Are they both getting isekai'd? Or is it just him? Yep, and it is him, like, in the context of this world even. Not like a character vaguely based on him, it's like literally fucking him. And this is the fantasy world. And Sach-chan is nowhere to be seen. I mean, yeah, it's a fair initial assumption, sure. Stereo sound. Always appreciate it. Annette. She's an elf? Or is she a goddess that will send him to his target world? Okay, we are in the other world. We don't have the goddess moving him somewhere segment. CG Dragon? Yes, CG Dragon. Cyclopses, phoenixes, every single staple of a fantasy world. Oh, he's anything but light. But I wanted to die! Yeah. The red string of fate still on his wrist. Does he get superpowers? Anything? Or... Oh. Oh, that's his superpower. Okay. Sure. Trying to die. Is it not obvious? But I don't wanna. Yeah. Well, the world should be making better decisions. Yes. Is it like a deity? Something like the track chooses the person? Okay. So we have a little bit of what's the fuck? What's that comic called? Isekai Transporter. Yeah, Isekai Transporter. We have the nature of the track explained. Yeah, but he wants to be unhappy. You don't get it. Right. The happiest in a profoundly sad way, but still, sure. Fair question. Okay, so I guess they don't get the concept of, you know, idealizing suicide and stuff like that. 0? Level 1, nothing exceptional. No superpowers. Class peasant. Basically, yeah. Yeah, he took more pills. Nope, absolutely nothing. You get many. Well, I mean, there's an obvious solution, right? And you stopped him from taking it. Right. True. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he probably wouldn't mind dying by a dragon or something. You could say that, yes. Okay, so while not a deity, she is the guide for otherworlders. Gotcha. Yeah, slowly getting more and more disillusioned with the heroes. Right. Having to guide them all, having to support them all, no matter who they are, no matter what they are. That he's different. He doesn't revel in being a hero. He's not arrogant. He's not. I mean, him being pretentious is debatable, but not in a way that Hero was. Considering you were transported here, you probably have powers of like writing a word in the air and that word becomes a reality or something like that. There is very few isekai stories where the character who gets transported has zero skills and it turns out that they actually have zero skills. It's usually something like integer overflow or some hidden ability or something like that. I wonder if this one's gonna be the one of many or the one of the few. And those are very flat angels. I mean, you gotta have aspirations. He at least knows what he wants from life. Can't read it? Yeah. That seems like a pretty big city. So you might run into an inn or something. They might even have coffee. Okay, so we're just gamifying it. Gotcha. Whomst? Party member? Or the elf girl? No, not the elf girl. Probably a future party member. Classic. Yep. Completely unmoved. Sure. How? Oh no, I cannot reach. Yeah. Ah, finally. Sweet release. Sucking out the life force? Or is the tree gonna suck out the drugs from his body and is just gonna die of overdose? Or is it more like a magic suction? Really? Hmm. Oh, so is his power something like he cannot die, but in return, whoever kills him dies, right? Like the fact of death moves from him into his killer, something like that, maybe. Or is it legit just the drugs in his system? Yeah, poison from his body. Okay, so seems like I was correct. You could say that. Matches, not a lighter. How old-fashioned and romantic, isn't it? So before the track, you tried once, twice. Yeah, something thereabouts. Waifu acquired. No, remember your goals, man. Don't lose track of your goals. That's a very good question, actually, yeah. You were hit both by the same track, presumably. Oh, is his goal going to be to find Satchan and go through with his plans? Probably. Hmm. His reason to live is to find a partner to die. How profound. That's actually an interesting premise. I gotta say. Yes. Not a demon lord will stop him from doing that. That's a very short episode. 18 minutes. I guess we're getting an after credits scene. Opening or ending? Probably opening. The kimono with the patterns that don't move. Again, so very Zetsubo Sensei. Was Zetsubo Sensei also based on him? Actually, now that I think about it, he probably was. Right? And from what I gather, he is going to have some writing-related powers as well. And she's not, like, the only person handling adventurers. There seems to be, like, a whole organization. Yeah, after credits, as I thought. Judging by the opening, you will meet again. Now? It seems so. He did find a goal in life. He did find a reason to live. His first party member. By accident, but still. Yeah, looking for another woman. I mean, this is an isekai story. It stands to reason that he's gonna have a harem, right? It's a staple. Just munching this drag like popcorn. No hand-holding. Right. Preposterous. He's wearing a battle armor. Can't you see? It's much more revealing than her dress. It has much more protection. Yeah, and he's just completely uninterested. A coffin. If you could call it an attack, then yes. Yep. Checking off the boxes. Of course. Time to go to sleep. Of course, it's in a coffin. Is he a fucking vampire? He is preparing, you know? We're never gonna learn her name, are we? We're never gonna learn her name. Just gonna drag him around. Just stick some wheels into this coffin and just cart it around. That's a lot of after credits. A princess? A princess. Those are some huge eyes. Okay, that's it. Damn, that was a long after credits scene. It's more like, no, it didn't happen midway through, but like close to midway. Okay, let's watch it again, shall we? Yes, we shall. You don't get much choice in the matter. I mean, you can skip it, so I guess you do, but still. Right, starting on a very grey, monochrome, desaturated day with the patterned kimonos and the red string of fate being the only colored bit in the scene. Again, I'm gonna be saying that a lot, but again, very reminiscent of Zetsubo Sensei, and I really wonder if this is actually, or rather, if Zetsubo Sensei is also based on the same character. Do I Google the character of Osamu Dazai? Just briefly. Osamu Dazai, right. Just a quick Wikipedia search. Okay, so he was born as Shuji Tsushima in Kanagi village. And his father was a rich lord. Even being in the Japanese parliament, it seems. He was addicted to morphine during his appendix surgery. Depression, alcoholism, and dependence on painkillers, right? Oh, there were a couple of double suicides in his life with other women as well. And then eventually, yeah, double suicide through drowning with his lover, Tomie Yamazaki. So I guess a different name. Or Sachan was one of his previous attempts, maybe. Okay, so we get a little bit more context on the topic. Do I search for if Zetsubo Sensei is also based on him? No, I'm not gonna spend the time googling this much for it. I'm gonna assume that both this show and Zetsubo Sensei are in one way or another based on his character. On this day, a certain great author and his lover left this world. Indeed. I really like this beginning as he wakes up here. No music, just slowly looking left, right, rising up, looking around, trying to assess the situation, right? I really like that he doesn't immediately jump into the, oh boy, I got isekai'd, or what, where am I? No, he calmly assesses the situation, where exactly he is. I don't know why exactly, but I really do like this, his approach to it, I guess. And he makes a safe assumption that this is the afterworld, right? I mean, there's plenty of religious imagery. There are angels and frescoes, and this whole thing looks like a church or otherwise a temple. So, again, stands to reason that this is the afterworld. But no, it's an isekai world instead. She has very big pauldrons. I like pauldrons. Guide those who descend upon this world, Annette. Yeah, this is a different word, and you were chosen to fight CG dragons. Is it CG? I think it might be switching from CG to drawn at some point here. I'm not sure, honestly. In motion, it looks very CG, but during any single still here, it doesn't. Which I guess really betrays it as CG. Yeah, the motion, and also the level of detail. Right, like a dragon being this far away from the camera, and if it was hand-drawn, would not have all those details. Every single segment of his arms and legs would just be plain color without those additional lines. Zoiberberg. Or Zauberberg, as she says, right? Zauberberg. So Zauberberg. Cyclopses, phoenixes, every single staple. One thing that we're missing is a circular city with a river going through it. Every isekai show must have it. This temple on the cliff reminds me of a starting location for... can't remember who. Someone in Sacred 2, in any case. Yep, transported to another world. He failed, and he got isekai'd. Another point to his life of shame. Calmotin sedative. So not only painkillers, but also like calming drugs, sedatives. Thankfully, we have detoxification magic. I love how he just casually munches on those pills, just as if they were candy, right? Like a bag of M&Ms spilled on the floor, so he's laying there and just eating them one by one. But they're not M&Ms; they're fucking sedative. Were you not visited by a truck? So it's the truck that chooses, it seems. The track was the Otherworld selection track, the one that brought you here. Among many people in your world living unhappy lives, only those struck by the track get to redo their lives in this world. So it is some sort of a built-in interdimensional system of, if you're really depressed, you get hit by a truck and you get to relive your life in another world. Interesting way to go about it. I mentioned parallels to Isekai Transporter, but not so much. Only in the way where in Isekai Transporter it's also explained how the track works, but basically in this way alone. And in the first place, Isekai Transporter is just based around the concept of the driver of the Isekai truck, so it kind of has to be explained. But the big difference is that here it's, you know, kind of like a force of nature that it detects sadness and just isekais you. In Isekai Transporter, it's different because it's the world that is struggling with like a demon lord or an orc invasion or something like that. They can call up the bureau and order themselves a hero, and so the Isekai driver just takes the track and just isekais a random Japanese person, and they get sent to the other world, and order received, payment done, stuff like that. I highly recommend reading Isekai Transporter, by the way. It should be on Mangadex. It's not a manga per se because it's not Japanese. I'm not sure what's the country of origin exactly. Yeah, Asian country in any case, but I think it's more like Thai, maybe? I think it might be Thai. Not Japanese, in any case, but very much worth a read, so highly recommend that. Okay, that is the world transfer service we provide. So not so much a force of nature after all, but rather they send the track to find an unhappy person and isekai them? What would their reason for that be? Just doing that out of the goodness of their hearts, or what exactly? But yeah, you were granted the chance to redo your life, but he doesn't want to do that. The track interfered with what was to be the happiest moment of my life, my double suicide. Who are you to decide if something is unhappy or not? Now, this might seem comedic at the first glance, right? Like, how can the moment of double suicide be the happiest moment in your life, right? But there is something to it, and as he says, who are you to decide if someone is unhappy or not? Paradoxically, there actually are people who find happiness, some form of happiness in their unhappiness. There legitimately are people around, and I've known at least one person like that, who just revel in being miserable. For whatever godforsaken reason, I don't know whether their dopamine receptors are inverted or whatever else is different about them, but there legitimately are people who just love being miserable. And it really seems like he's one of those people. Add to that the fact that he's very much a writer, very much a poet, and you get the added layer of poetic death, poetic misery. There is a book in Polish schools curriculum that we read in high school, I believe. Cierpienia młodego Wertera is the title, which roughly translates to The Sufferings of Young Werther. And it's a book about one such person, one Werther, who is just completely miserable, but does everything to just be more miserable than humanly possible. And he ends, and the book ends with him committing suicide for some sort of completely fucking bullshit reason, and he fails at doing that and slowly bleeds out through the night. Many people hate that book because it's just cringe central reading about the adventures of Werther, if you can call them that. Me personally, I really like it because I just look at it as a comedy. If you can find a translation, you know what? It's not long. It's just a very thin book, couple of pages. If you can find translation, I highly recommend you read it because it's just wild. Just wild, honestly. And this dude really reminds me of Werther. Very niche, whatchamacallit? Very, very obscure reference, but a reference that I see nonetheless. Who are you to decide if someone is unhappy or not? I mean, a good question, right? Some people might be unhappy, but they might find happiness in that. Some people might be unhappy, but they might not be unhappy for much longer. And you might have taken something away from them, right? Maybe someone's unhappy just temporarily. Maybe even, the most unhappy person in the world, but maybe in a couple of years, everything changes and they're the happiest person in the world. But no, you isekai'd them, they got into this world, and they might find happiness, yes, but a different kind of happiness. Happiness in the other world instead of, I don't know, reconnecting with their family and finding a partner or whatever that would have otherwise awaited them in this real world. He's actually making a very good point. Who are you to decide if someone is unhappy or not? Oddly enough, it really seems more, I don't want to say evil, but less concerned about the isekai person than the usual, our country is in danger, we must summon heroes with this complete disregard for their original lives, right? Because there is that, reason. It's a live or die situation. We summon the heroes and they fight the demon lord, or the demon lord just fucking stomps the humanity out of existence. We kind of have to do that, right? There's a good reason for summoning those people, even if it's ultimately worse in the end, because they might be summoning very happy people who didn't want to go away. But in this case, the reason is very presumptuous, right? Interesting. I wonder if they're gonna do something more with this reason. If there's a second layer to that, or something like that. It seems to me like there might be, and I'm actually gonna noted down. If you're unfamiliar, if you're new to the channel, this is my green book of theories. Whenever I start watching a new show, I note down theories for it, and at the end of the show we check them out, see how correct or how wrong I was. Isekai Shikkaku. Second layer to the reason for isekaiing people. Because again, are they just doing it out of the goodness of their heart? There has to be something more to it. I don't know how deep this show is going to be, how much should I read into it, and how much I should just hand wave, but we'll see that over time, of course. He was saved from a life so unhappy that he chose to commit suicide. Yes, but that was supposed to be the pinnacle of his life, right? The peak, the apex. He'll change his mind once he sees his stats. Nope. No stats whatsoever, just dying of poison. Not only is the screen bright red, but he's poisoned after I detoxified him. I guess this is his skill, isn't it? She detoxified him from the immediate effects of it, but he is still just permanently poisoned. Like, poison is permanently coursing through his veins, and that will be his way of fighting at least some enemies. He would do amazingly well against vampires, for example. Is he about to die? Level 1, HP 1? Yeah, seems to be the case. No special skills, no exceptional abilities, equipment, cigarettes, matches, sedative, fountain pen, and notebook. No spells, no skills. 1 in every single stat. We really are going for a very classic, no, standard isekai here with the gamification. I talk about gamification in shows very often because it can be done well and it can be done badly. This, I'm not sure how intrusive it's gonna be, but in general, I'm not a huge fan of gamification in shows that don't need gamification, right? Like, having screens show up in front of people's faces and having them interact with virtual screens and having levels and having XP and stuff like that, it makes sense in a show like Shangri-La Frontier because they are in a game. It makes sense in Overlord because it's based on a game, right? It doesn't make much sense in a show like this where there's no game involved, right? And very often it's just basically a cheap cop-out, right? How do we show that our main character is very weak? Well, we just put it on the screen. Look how little strength he is. He's very weak. Because the author doesn't want to be bothered by showing that in any other way. So it's just a cheap way to also make the characters grow, right? Instead of showing them train casting fireball every now and then and finally mastering it. No, they just say, oh, the character earned 500 XP, they leveled up, they can pick a skill, they click, they get a fireball. That's your training done, right? It's a matter of convenience. So again, I'm usually not a huge fan of it. Imagine if there was gamification in Frieren. Imagine if Fern was able to destroy the boulder only because she happened to get enough XP and Frieren told her that she should invest in wisdom and not lore or whatever, and so she did click, press the button 3 times because she had 3 skill points and managed to destroy the boulder. It would really cheapen the whole fucking thing so much, wouldn't it? This, though, I'm willing to overlook it. I mean, this show is basically, as far as I'm concerned right now, it's a bit of a riff on seasonal isekai trash. Right? They are very much playing into the tropes of seasonal isekai trash, and they're just putting their own spin on it. So, in that vein, it's cool. seasonal isekai trash is known for its gamification, so it's basically a staple of the genre. If they want to riff on that genre, again, makes sense that staples of the genre would be present. That was a long aside. Let's continue. Very, very weak. But there is something to him, isn't there? Grabbing him by the wrist with the red string of fate on it. You neither have the ability to live in this world, nor are you fit to live here. Story of my life. Yeah. But again, there's something to him, some certain je ne sais quoi that made her fall in love. I am branded a failure no matter what world I live in, right? I'm just looking for a place to die. He is different, right? Because there were so many different adventurers, and all of them were, you know, maybe familiar with the genre, and they knew, oh, hero, how classic. Well, do I fight a demon lord now or what? Right? Or they were just completely pretentious, or completely just assholes and arrogant. All sorts of people come here. He is different though. He doesn't, you know, gloat with the fact that he's a hero. He's not like, oh, yeah, well, bring me money and wenches then, I'm your hero after all. Right? He's the complete and utter opposite. And that's what she sees in him, it seems. Please take a profession before you go. And his profession is a writer. Did he pick a profession at this very moment? Probably. Wouldn't surprise me if he just inadvertently just, you know, said a random, well, not a random, said a thing offhandedly, and the system, whatever it is, picked it up and assigned him a profession. Girl with the beautifully shaped ears. Well, that's a compliment. I understand now. Very flat angels, as I said. They really seem to be just painted on the wall, and with the fish islands, they are distorted just as a flat painting would, instead of as a 3D statue would. Yeah, very flat. Interesting tidbit, I guess. There's a building in my city, in the market square in Wrocław. There's a building that has a just completely flat face, basically, right? Just a concrete cube with plastic square windows in it. Well, rectangular more like. Who the fuck has square windows? But it stands in a market square, and all the buildings around it are, like, you know, very well crafted with frescoes and shit like that on them, and so they just painted that building with all sorts of like architectural reliefs and designs and stuff like that. So when you're standing far away and you're taking a photo of the market square, I mean, it looks good, but you come up to it and you see that all those sculptures and shit are just flat, and it really reminds me of that. I had been waiting for this man to arrive. Yeah, he's different, isn't it? But she's feeling something. She's feeling something, all right. Another bit that just immediately evokes Zetsubo Sensei to me. Chrysanthemums. Is that how you turn this word into a proper form? Yeah, and some other flowers as well that I don't particularly recognize. Chrysanthemus. What the fuck is this flower called? Chrysanthema in Polish. Fuck it, translate it if you want. They're very common in Poland to put on graves. So, you know, cross-cultural reference, I guess you could say. Assuming they are chrysanthemums and not something else. I really don't know my flowers much. I can tell a rose and a tulip, but only when it's a rose that looks like a rose and not like a tulip, and when it's a tulip that looks like a tulip and not like a rose, because there are different kinds. Another world, yeah. No knowledge of the language and just munching on the sedative. And a voice in his head. another bit of gamification, complete with a whole jingle and announcing levels. He's gonna open a chest and he's gonna hear the Death Tree. Yeah, we really are going for the staples of seasonal isekai trash. We got a cat girl in skimpy clothing, appearing out of nowhere, being attacked by a tentacle monster, put in very interesting positions, and toyed with by the enemy more than actually, you know, the enemy trying to devour her. Yeah, I'm meeting a lot of people with oddly shaped ears today, and he's just completely nonplussed about it. And dying women certainly are beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you can see some aesthetic in this world, I guess. Yeah, it's not gonna work. I tried nothing and I'm out of options. Ah, yes. Finally, exactly what I desired. Suction skill, of course. Yeah, I knew that the tree is just going to suck out the poison, and it really seems like this is going to be his main skill here. Goodbye, said in perfect English. Yeah, just like that. Easy kill, and he himself did not die, and instead gained a level. Does he inject himself with poison? Do I even say that it reminds me of Witcher 3 and the potion that gives that deals damage to vampires who bite you? Because that's it. Black Blood it was called, right? Yeah, Black Blood. It's like having permanent black blood effect. Anything interesting on this pack of matches? No, just a pack of matches. And lighting up a cigarette. I'm the one who wished for death, and yet I survived. 5 times. Okay, up until now. So the tree he didn't really try. So does it count? Probably not. Poisoning in the church, right? The attempt by the river that he got isekai'd from, and 3 other attempts, I guess. Yeah, before that. It's never gone right once. Sensei. Yeah, sudden realization, right? I have 1/2 of the string, and we were both hit by the track. Did she come with? Yeah, do I suddenly have a reason to live? Apparently, it's very interesting. My reason to live is to find someone to die with. Well, one specific person, because isn't like many people's reason to live is finding someone that they eventually die with, right? I guess the assumption is that the death is not going to be immediate, but in his head that is the assumption that yes, the death will be imminent. Is the pattern on the cloth? Yeah, the pattern is moving on the back part of the cloth, which stands opposed to Zetsubo Sensei. Wait, does it move with the cloth? Yeah, it does. Stands opposed to Zetsubo Sensei because in Zetsubo Sensei, all the kimonos they were wearing and other clothes are just like cutouts into the background of pattern. I'm gonna be making those references a lot, so get used to it. I'll find you wherever you are in this world, and then we will both leave it. And I think it's the opening. Yeah, that's our elf girl with huge sleeves. Another member of the party, some boy with a sword, I'm assuming. Those patterned kimonos. Patterned with, pattern that doesn't follow the folds in the cloth, but is rather very, very flat. That's, as I said, that's the staple in Zetsubo Sensei. Not like the kimono on the right. The pattern moves here. The fact that Satchan is here, though, really makes me think that she might actually be in this world. We'll see. And his powers probably gonna have something to do with his writing. Maybe being able to write things into existence. That would be the like the first thing that comes to mind, right? He writes, deal, at this moment I dealt 10 damage to the goblin, and the goblin takes 10 damage. Stuff like that. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see over time. So this is a whole organization consisting of elves and a demon dog. Those are his ears, or just a piece of cloth? I don't know. Demon person. Demon person and elves having different staves. A crane, a wheelchair, a book. So that's our party. And a very long after credit scene. That's more like a second half, or a third, or the fourth quarter, the fifth 20%, something like that, of the episode. Yeah, much longer than I expected. Let us meet someday, and we get a nice bit of comedy with women. Yeah, he already has a woman, and now he's looking for another one. Castle town of Roth. Yeah, no hand-holding in public. Deviant. Yeah, you can tell that she changed into her warrior clothes, right? She lost this entire piece of cloth. Everybody knows that the less you wear, it only works if you're a woman, right? The less you wear, the more protective the gear is. For a man, it's the opposite. You have to have like heavy pole drones and just 5 centimeter layer of steel around you. That gives you protection. For women, it's like, chainmail bikini. That is the, endgame armor. And she knows it perfectly well. And he just doesn't give a fuck. They're arguing over him and he just doesn't care whatsoever. Oh look, a coffin. Perfect place to sleep. Yeah. On a bed of roses, no less. Got a comfortable bed. Annette, Kun, and Tama, and her name is not Tama. We're never gonna learn her name, are we? Or she's just gonna be Tama for the rest of the series. Smug elf. And a princess, pink-haired princess with big eyes. I'm assuming another girl who falls in love with the sensei. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see with time. But what we will see right now is... There we go. Yeah, as I mentioned, the details about the show, the staff, the studio, stuff like that. Right. So, what can we glean from that? 12 episodes, and it did air 2 days ago, after all. 23 minutes, releasing, right. Atelier Pondark is the studio producers Kadokawa Movie ATX BS11, source manga, as I assumed, comedy, fantasy, romance, slice of life, supernatural. Isekai suicide, male protagonist, satire, nekomimi, magic, elf, heterosexual, drugs, female harem. Spoiler 1 tag, not gonna look at it. Isekai Oji-san makes sense. Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, exact match. Shincho-yu, yeah, that was the one I was thinking about. The dude who just fucking refused to be a hero until he trains enough. Yeah, kind of has this vibe a little bit. Bungo Stray Dogs, have not seen it. Aoi Bungaku series, have not seen it, so can't speak of them. Getting good reviews, it seems. So let's see what Studio Pondark has made. Isekai Oji-san. And Ganbare Doki-chan. So first they made Ganbare Doki-chan, and now it seems like the thing they're making is interesting isekais, is how I would put it. I think it's an apt way to put it, right? Interesting isekais. Now, it's hard to say that two shows they made this particular pattern. I'm gonna have to wait until they make at least the third one, but so far it seems like it might be what they get to specialize in. It would be cool. It would be really cool if there was actually a studio that specializes in those interesting, unique isekais, because there's plenty. Like, people joke about isekai as a genre a lot, like everything is samey, and there is truth in that, absolutely. But there are some isekais that are like legitimately very, very cool and very unique and very fucking interesting. I would love to see the Minecraft isekai, for example, adapted. That would be amazing. And it's not like literally Minecraft isekai, but the dude gets transported into another world, and his powers are based essentially on I think it's named like survival game or something like that, but it's just Minecraft. He can pick up a block of soil and put it somewhere, and if he places like multiple blocks of soil and takes the bottom one, then the other blocks of soil just levitate in the air, right? He can craft items in his inventory, stuff like that. It's super cool. I really like this series, so it would be interesting if Atelier Pont d'Arc adapted it. All right, let's see the stuff. Who do I want to see in particular? Well, first of all, original story, original character design. The OGs are most important. Hiroshi Noda wrote the original story for this, as well as Koi wa Sekai Seifuku, Maga Zutto Miteru, and Ningyo Hime no Gomenne Gohan. And seems like one other show of his was also, one other manga of his got also an adaptation. Cool. And Takahiro Wakamatsu, character design, also for Koiwa Sekai and some other manga. Next, director, character design, composition, sure, why not? And more character design and prop design. Yeah, sure. Shigeki Kawai, director here, director on Isekai Oji-san as well. Other than that, mostly episode director on SAO Darling in the Franxx Blend S, Aono Exorcist Naruto. Not a particular huge portfolio, but you can see the step up, right? From key animation on some episodes of Naruto, into key animation, then episode director for some episodes of Naruto, assistant director, and finally working his way all the way up to being a director in Studio Pont d'Arc. I wonder if Studio Pont d'Arc is like a splinter of some other studio. Maybe we're gonna see the rest of the staff. Have they also worked on the same things? Tomoshige Inayoshi, character designer here, animation director on Isekai Oji-san, also Dr. Stone Tensai Oji, Battle Spirits Final Fantasy, Dr. Stone, Koito Uso, Goblin Slayer, animation director on a single episode, Persona the movie, Pretty Rhythm, Toradora, key animation for the opening. Okay, mostly key animation roles. And this is his second, third, fourth. Not his first role as a character designer is what I'm trying to say, I guess. Yasuhiro Nakanishi is the scriptwriter and series composition, also script and series composition for Shy season 2 as well, which I'm also watching on the channel if you're interested. This one, the one with Ars, I think is the name of the protagonist, Tensei Kizaku. I've read the manga, and the manga is great. So if you wanna watch something really cool that isn't an isekai, I can recommend it. Maho Seihei no Slave, Also, Witch from Mercury script for a couple of episodes, Kaguya-sama, and and Bank Dream. Asaka Inayoshi, also character design and chief animation director. Also key animation for an episode of Frieren, opening of Undead Girl Murder Farce. Mob Psycho key animation, Isekai Oji-san animation director, Tensai Oji, Skate, Great Pretender, plenty of Boku no Hero Academia, it seems. Koito Uso, Shigatsu Akimito Uso, and Toradora, even, and Utena in between animation assistants. Goichi Iwahata, prop design for Isekai Shikkaku, also for ReZero, Mahou no Slave, Hikari no O, Tonikaku Kawaii, again Isekai Oji-san, seems well, and Ganbare Doki-chan. I would say it seems like he's affiliated with Studio Pondark. And the Tsukito Leketo Nosferatu prop design. A very, very good series. Highly recommend it. I watched it on the channel as well. Had some like production issues here and there, but I really loved the vibe of it and the story and the characters in general. Highly recommend it. Goblin Slayer prop design as well. And Akamega Kill I've also noticed. Shigeyuki Kurosawa, prop design here, also the vending machine sub-character design, Isekai Oji-san, Mushko Tensei prop design for a couple of episodes, Data Bullet, Goblin Slayer, Azure Lane, Goblin Slayer, Data Live as well, Steins Gate, Escalogi no Atelier, prop design as well, and Pokemon even. Tom. Sure. That's a short name and easy to remember. Isekai Oji-san, Ganbare Doki-chan, Isekai Shikkaku. Again, safe to assume he's affiliated somewhat with Studio Pondark. Likoreko. Again, Data Bullet, Goblin Slayer. Many people seem to have worked on Goblin Slayer, Akamega Kill, Data Bullet. Michiru Kodaka, prop design. Again, Isekai Oji-san, Ganbare Doki-chan, Data Bullet. Steins Gate, yeah. Then art direction and art design and color design, why not? Art direction by Masakazu Miyake, also for Isekai Suicide Squad, it seems. Well, those two shows have something in common, don't they? Kanojo mo Kanojo, Kizuna no Alere, Primadol, Spy Family, Sabiku Ibisco art direction, Tribe 9 as well, Mushko Tensei, and Steins Gate, Konosuba as well. Yeah, art direction for all seasons of Konosuba. Cool. Yuri Sanami, art design, also Mushko Tensei, also Steins Gate, and no Konosuba. Shoujo Shumatsu Ryoko, background art for one episode though. Izumi Sakamoto, color design here, also Doki-chan, also Isekai Oji-san. Demi-chan, finishing check assistance for a single episode. Color design for www.working. ReZero, working, exclamation, Kemonozume, and color design for a manga, even. Next, CG direction, sure. And let's see the music, sound director and the music. Script we went through already. Okay. Miki Yoshida, CG director, also for Goblin Slayer, Steins Gate, SAO, and Recreators. Jin Akatagawa, sound director here, also for Fureru. This is this airing this season, or is it supposed to air in the future? I think it's not this season. Sakuna Hime, sound director as well, airing this season. Isekai Suicide Squad, Trapezium, Shinigami Bochan. Would you look at that? Dr. Stone, Slime, Isekai, Hatarakuma Osama, second season. More Dr. Stone. Nagatoro-san, and plenty other shows. Isekai Oji-san, of course, appears as well. Ganbare Doki-chan, Getsuyomi no Tawawa. No, similar but different. And Kaguya-sama. Kenichiro Suehiro, music for Isekai Shikkaku, for Isekai Suicide Squad. Plenty of people worked on those both shows, seemingly. And also Goblin Slayer, Undead Unluck, that's new. Isekai Oji-san, of course. Hataraku Saibo, Goblin Slayer again appears here, both seasons. ReZero, and some other shows. Tears no Tiara, Da Capo. Next, monster design. We haven't seen many monsters, but let's check that out preemptively. And 2D design, and then OP and ED performance, and that's gonna do it for staff. Monster design by Kenji Terao. Also some designs for Arknights Season 2. Mushko Tensei for Marines. MV, more Arknights. Isekai Oji-san, of course, it's not a surprise anymore. Iwa Kakeru, Arknights, Dr. Stone. Sekai Seifuku Boukatsu no Zvezda. Boryaku no Zvezda, sorry. And others. Aya Inuise, 2D design here, and also some work on Data Live and Steins Gate. Kashitaro Ito, theme song performance here. What other pieces of music? Watashi no Shiawase Kekkon. Some other shoujo show. Isekai Quartet, interestingly. And what else? Decadence, as far as stuff that I recognize, and music performance for some music videos, I assume. And Mayu Maeshima, the performer of the ED. Also OP in 99 level whatever. Isekai Oji-san opening, Overlord ending. Oh, interesting. And that's it. That's it for staff. Characters. Main characters, of course, Osamu Dazai, voiced by Hiroshi Kamiya, Annette, voiced by Rumi Okubo, and Tama, voiced by Sayumi Suzuhiro. And Suzushiro, sorry. And Nier, that's going to join us in the future, voiced by Makoto Koichi. Wait, Aoyuki. I'm gonna notice this photo everywhere, voicing someone as well. But regardless, in order. Hiroshi Kamiya, voicing Matsuno in also Matsu-san. Besides that, someone in Blue Lock. Levi in Shingeki no Kyojin. Anybody else that I would recognize? Not particularly, I'm afraid. Oh, Kusuo, Saiki in Saiki K. More Levi, someone in Carol and Tuesday. Kyohoku in Overlord. Rei in Gegege no Kitaro. Araragi in Monogatari. Okay. That's the voice of Araragi. Out of curiosity, I'm gonna scroll and I'm gonna look for Zetsubo Sensei. Yes, of course. Yep. Voicing Nozomu Itoshiki, the titular sensei from Zetsubo Sensei. There we go. Yep. I need to finish watching Zetsubo Sensei. I've not finished all the seasons. and some other roles in older shows. Trafalgar in One Piece, Zazie the Beast in the OG Trigun, going all the way back to the year of our Lord, 1995. Alright. Rumi Okubo voicing Annette, voicing Mutsuki. Okay. Voicing Mutsuki from Blue Archive, Kisaragi Mutsuki from Azure Lane, Stagnate in Saihato no Paladin. Like, look at this range. Stagnate, but also Mutsuki and Kisaragi. I guess she's voicing two Mutsukis, right? Mutsuki and Mutsuki. And Neru in the Sword Isekai as well. More Mutsuki. Chinatsu in Yuru Yuri. Ishiguro in Mob Psycho, Astolfo in Fate Apocrypha. And other fates as well, I would assume. Tamako in Barakamon. Barakamon was really cool, interesting, fun series to watch. Very fun series to just sit down and just chill out with it. I can recommend it. And other shows, other roles as well. Some roles in Precure, I see. Sayumi Suzushiro, the voice of Tama, I guess the name is going to stick then. Also voice of Pils Dunant in Shy. Noah from Blue Archive. Lavin in Sosono Frieren. Annie Kerber in Undead Girl Murder Farce. Satono Crown in Unamusu. Renee Costa in Witch from Mercury. Kei Shirogane in Kaguya-sama. That's a lot of roles I immediately already recognize. And that's where my recognition ends. And the other member of the party that we have not met yet is going to be voiced by Makoto Koichi. That is Nier, also voicing Kei Uomi in Shangri-La Frontier. Also Lloyd in the in this one, where people were losing their minds over how thick this boy is. Also, yep, more Kei Uomi. Mao Satan from Hataraku Mao-sama. Shizuku from Undead Girl Murder Farce as well. Then we also have Benimaru from Slimy To. And that's about it. Am I gonna look up any other roles? The characters that have images, I guess. If a character doesn't have an image, I'm assuming they're not that interesting. Interesting. That important, rather. They might very well be interesting. Chafurin is voicing Thomas from Isekai Shikkaku, as well as Shacho from Zone 100, Juzo Megure from Conan, and some other roles. Spec from Baki, and some other people. Then we have Hinakino voicing who exactly? Melos from Isekai Shikkaku. Also voiced Flora in Kuma Kuma Bear, Alas Ramus in Hataraku Mao-sama, Sui in this one. Also very fun read as a manga. So I'm assuming very fun watch as an anime as well. I've read the manga, have not seen the anime. Can recommend the manga though, for sure. From what I hear, the anime was also fun to watch though. So pick one or both. I mean, I can't dictate your life after all. Isekai Cheat Magician, I see Asobi Asobeis, or Asobi Asobase, I guess, Hanako Honda. Tiki. Oh, Tiki in Symphogear. Alright. Then we have Reina Ueda who is voicing Satchan. Okay. That is a character I recognize. Reze in Chainsaw Man. Someone in Ishura. Someone in Kimetsu no Yaiba. Nushko Tensei role as well. Lemon in Mashal. Veronica Rickenbacker in Matskai no Yome Season 2. Season 2 Part 2, I'm sorry. It was a split core second season. Methode in Soso no Frieren. Yeah, Veronica Rickenbacker in Mahatsukai no Yome Season 2 Part 1, of course, as well. Miyako in Watashi ni Tenshi, Reze. And some other people as well. Taeko in Adachi to Shimamura. Rosa in Arc Knights. Yeah, and other people. Next we have Mai Nakahara, who's voicing Isha, who's going to be voicing Isha. Also the voice of Nora from Spice and Wolf, which you can also watch on the channel if you want. Akagi Blaze from Azure Lane and Arc Knights respectively. Rosemary from Shadow's House. Mifuyu from Magia Record. And other people. Rumi from Girls on Panza. Alright. Inori Minase, voicing Magical Pink in Sasaki to Pichan, but most importantly voicing Charlotte in Isekai Shikkaku. Also voicing Rem and Hestia and other waifus. Misaki in Death Mount Dead Play. Viola in Shinigami Bochan. Gyujin in Spike Yoshitsu. Who else? Kasumi in Precon. Tengoku in Tact of Destiny. Still ashamed that the game met an EOS. Arquetto in Arc Knights. Carol in Symphogear. Another Symphogear voice actress. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Chito in Shoujo Tsumatsu. Yep. Jun Fukuyama voicing Otto, as well as Ichimatsu in Otomatsu-san. Clayface in Isekai Suicide Squad. Lelouch Lampe Rouge. And Lloyd from this one. And Lawrence. Kraft Lawrence. Yukio. Kraft Lawrence from Spice and Wolf, of course. Yukio from Aono Exorcist. What else? Seed from can't remember the English name. Kage no Jitsu something something. Vending machine from the vending machine Isekai, to the surprise of nobody. What else? Who else? Jackalope Sensei from Totsukuni no Shoujo. And plenty of other characters. Yeah. And Aoyuki. Who doesn't know Aoyuki? Who hasn't heard of Aoyuki? Who hasn't heard her voice? I'm willing to bet she's been voicing at least one of the characters in one of the anime you've seen, and you have no fucking idea it was her. She has such a crazy range that you really have no idea when that happens. Piercarlo from Sasaki to Pichan, Tanya Degrechav in Yojo Senki, Mao Mao in Kusuri no Hitorigoto, Tsuyu from Boku no Hero Academia. What other recent roles from shows that I recognize at least? Pascal in Nier Automata, Setsuna in Boku no Hero Academia, Noria from Witch from Mercury, Tanya Degrechav, of course, from Isekai Kurte. This time around, Gracefield from Saihead and a Paladin. more Tanya, Pony in Boku no Hero Academia as well, Taiho in Azure Lane, Tamaki in Enen no Shobutai, of course, Madoka, before we scroll to it, Madoka in Madoka Magica, Hibiki in Symphogear as well, Clementine in Overlord. That's what I'm talking about when I mean the range that she has, and a lot of other roles. There we go, Hibiki. A lot of other roles. Let's give a quick glance at the characters that have no images as well. We are decently good for time, so might as well. We're not gonna spend that much time with those characters though. Nobuhiko Okamoto voicing Suzuki. Here also the voice of Bakugo in Boku no Hero Academia. Also voicing Rin in Ao no Exorcist. Who else? Kanta in Zone 100. I have to finish watching it. That break during the season really threw me off. It was like, what? We had to wait until the whole another season with the last, like, 4 episodes, something like that. Yeah, Zone 100 was really fun and really pretty to watch, but they just kind of burnt out the production in the process. Regardless, Tomokazu Sugita voicing Lardon, also the voice of Rudius in Mushoku Tensei, Taro in Sakamoto Days, whenever that comes out, Sasaki in Sasaki to Pichan, Gintoki in Gintama. Plenty of, like, surprisingly prominent roles for a character that's just supporting in this show. And Vilio in Shy. Who else? The Lizard Shaman in Goblin Slayer, Ningen no O in Helk, and plenty other roles. Escanor in Nanatsu no Taizai, Nobunaga Shimazaki, the voice of Wolf, as well as someone in Blue Lock, Shido in Data Live, Baki in Baki. Okay. Baki in Baki. Who else that I would know? Not many other roles that I would recognize. Yeah. Next. Konomi Kohara. The voice of Yuriko. Also the voice of Raphael in Delico's Nursery. And some other child in... Oh, it's the Omegaverse one. Yeah, Tadaima Okairi. Roxy in Mushoku Tensei. Atla in Tate no Yusha. Sara in Level 1 Mao. Chika in Kaguya-sama. Anybody else? Karibu in Eurocamp. Have not seen season 2 though, so I don't really know that character. Sheffield in Azure Lane. Mina in Jozo no Takagi-san. Another child. Kasumi in Asobi Asobase. And other roles. And Daisuke Ono, the voice of Kaibara. And also the voice of Sebastian in Kuroshitsuji. Jiu Shimatsu in Osomatsu-san. And who else that I would know? Yeah, I'm afraid not many characters or shows that I would recognize. Well, Jotaro in JoJo, that's a character I know, for sure. Although I have not seen the JoJos yet, so... Fafnir from Kobayashi-san, finally a familiar face. Erwin in Shingeki no Kyojin, Golem in Somali. And other people as well. Dick Grayson in Ninja Batman. apparently. And yeah, more Kuroshitsuji. And other roles as well. Okay, that's gonna cover it, I think. So, first of all, I ran out of tea. So. It seems fun so far. It doesn't seem like a show that would take itself seriously. The exact opposite. I was kind of afraid that they're going to try to make a serious isekai, like a serious comedic isekai with this sort of a character, and the isekai story would be, the isekai factor would be serious, but haha, the main character wants to kill himself. That's funny, right? That they're gonna go for something like that. But it seems like they're going for something a little bit more than just mere comedy, and that is they're going for a little bit of a satire, right? It really seems to me like they are very familiar with the tropes of the isekai genre, and they are using them. They are using them to satirize the genre. I don't think, again, I could be very well mistaken, but I think that Tama being captured by the tree, who happened to have tentacles, right? That played very much into the generic seasonal isekai trope of our main character meets a girl in distress who's been groped by tentacles or just about to be violated by the bandits and saves her, and she joins the party, right? It's just, almost in your face. The fact that the track is like a part of the world, that's also I feel a part of that satire. Again, I could very well be mistaken. They could very well maybe playing it straight, but I really don't think so. I really don't. At the same time, there are some bits of the isekai here that might have a second layer. Whether they do or not remains to be seen. But the thing with the track taking sad people in, right? There might be something more to that. Again, I really don't think they're just doing it out of the goodness of their heart. I think it might be something like the more sadness you have, the better powers you get from the gods in return, or something like that, right? Like the gods want to make your life up to you. So if you led a miserable life and you get isekai, then the gods make it up to you with powerful magic and powerful skills. But if you're a happy, successful person and you get isekai'd by accident, then you don't get many superpowers in the other world. Or maybe the exact opposite. You end up a peasant and die of dysentery, right? Maybe it's something like that. Actually, that's an interesting theory, so might as well note it down. The more miserable a person is, the more power they get. When isekai as a way of gods making the misery up to them. Wouldn't surprise me if something like that was that additional second layer. I just don't know if that layer even exists, right? It could very well be that it's going to be a very simple show, a very simple story. We have a misanthrope, depressed character who wants to die, and he is on a journey to find the partner for a double suicide. And that's the story, and we get wacky adventures, and it's a satire, and, don't think about it, just hand wave much of that stuff. Or they could actually get deep into it. I don't know, it's always a gamble with shows like that, How willing are they going to get? Because you rarely learn about the depth of the systems, the depth of the world from just the first episode alone. So it's gonna need a couple more episodes at least. I'm glad my channel is like not monetized fully, because this video would just be immediately demonetized with the amount of times I said death and suicide and stuff like that. Yeah, anything else about this this particular episode? I think I covered mostly everything of what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, seems to be a fun series, basically in the type of your everyday seasonal isekai, but with a little bit more of a twist, right? Like, there are plenty of seasonal isekais that have some singular twist, like the main character is the weakest, but he's actually the strongest. There's a lot of them. So that's how this one is kind of... Actually, is it standing out, though? It is and it isn't. Like, it's not standing out of the crowd in that the main character is actually the weakest, as the what's her face, Annette, as Annette said, he is the weakest. He's completely fucking weak, but he does have a secret superpower that he can use to defeat any enemy, and that's a classic, that's a staple. But the thing that this one is original, the thing that this one is different, is our main character. I think this is the most original bit here. How completely blasé and nonplussed he is about everything. Like, if this was a seasonal isekai trash, our main character, after learning that he has poison coursing through his veins, he would figure out ways how to use it to you know, to win every fight, and then he would sign up for an adventurous guild and create a card and have a rank F because he's the weakest, but then he will defeat the dragon and get rank A because he's the strongest, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about. He would immediately jump at the occasion, at the chance of utilizing his newfound power. Not so much in this case. Osamu is just, you know, he has his goal. He wants to find Sachan, and that's it. That's all he cares about. He wants to sleep in a coffin, he wants to munch on some painkillers. He doesn't particularly care about saving the world. He doesn't particularly care about being an adventurer. He doesn't particularly care about anything. And it's not just surface level thing that's just played for laughs, but then completely removed when it's inconvenient to have a character who doesn't care. Like, again, happens many times. We are shown or told that a character just doesn't care about anything, and then they are shown caring very fucking much. Yeah, that's the most interesting bit here, I think. Everything else is just staple of seasonal isekai trash, but I think it's for a reason. Or rather, I think it's purposeful. We'll see that. We'll see in the future episodes. We're not gonna have to wait for the next one to come, thankfully, because it's gonna be like, what, 4 days or so? So, yeah. Right now, though, I think that's gonna be it from me for today, but maybe you guys have something more to add on the topic of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that. Say so in the comments down below. What did you think of them? No spoilers, please. If you want to talk spoilers, you can do that on my Discord here, also linked in the description. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe. I have a really dry throat. Subscribe to be notified of future videos, and not only Isekai Shikkaku, but also other shows like Spice and Wolf, Shy Season 2, Tsurugi no Historia, Nigajozen. No, not that one. What am I watching? What am I watching? Quality Assurance in Another World. Yeah, that one. And Wasuyu. That's also a show that is in my day-to-day like pattern or whatever. I don't know. I'm having trouble thinking right now. Click the bell to be notified when those videos go out and when I go live, because I do stream sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon down below. where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Wasu, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube, membership, super thanks, super chats, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without the Nedze, Reine, Yukiala, Ishtamu, Dr. Ward, Friedrich Jung, Akamancer, Marsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to take any painkillers.